I haven't heard from any of the commissioners, but you do have quorum.
Okay, hello everybody. Everybody who's here. It's time to open the November 6th, 2023 meeting of the Encinitas Arts Commission, and I will call to order. We are going to start with Pledge of Allegiance, if you'd like to. Roll call, sorry. We're gonna strike that. We're going to start with roll call.
Let the record show that all commissioners are present, except Commissioners Abraham, Campbell, and Kadakia.
Great, thank you very much. Now we can move on to, if you'd like, to stand up and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, so first item on the, next item in the agenda is special presentations and proclamations, and we have none today. I'm not getting the full, oh, sorry. Okay. Number 5 is oral communications, possible direction to staff. Each speaker has 3 minutes to address the commission, and I believe we do have, that's the next one, yeah, sorry, okay. So we don't have any in that category. So we will move on to number 6, changes to the agenda. I don't know of any that we need to announce, so we'll move on to number 7, approval of the minutes from our October 2nd meeting.
I actually think there's a slight
there's an
error. It's not coming up here, but I believe it marked me absent.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. You were present, but you were also absent at the same time.
No. But it was further down to see.
In the minutes, it's showing Commissioner Fox as both present and absent.
Yeah.
And she was present. She ran the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So is there a motion to approve the minutes with that correction?
Yes.
Just a small point of order. I was not here physically, but I attended the whole meeting virtually, so I think I can vote on the minutes. Is that right?
Yes, you can vote.
Okay.
You won't be counted as being present, but since you watched the meeting,
Mm-hmm.
then yes, you can vote.
Okay, great. Is there a motion to?
There's a
A
motion.
second.
Is there a second?
Okay, second that. Okay. So we can vote on that?
So can you clarify who motioned to approve and then who's seconding?
Okay, click on.
And
No, you did.
We all did.
Kathleen seconded.
Okay.
Lee, second.
Okay. And then say, record. And then start voting. That way they can vote. They can use their judgment. Let's see. Let the record show that it passes. 4 voted yes, commissioners voted yes, and 0, that's it, and 0 voted no.
All right, great, thank you. So we are going to move on to the action items. And just to clarify, when are we doing the public comment for? Okay, I didn't see that, great. All right, so we are going to talk about our work plan, and let's go through that. If I can find it, there it is. Okay, so
I guess I'm the first one up to report on the Cultural Tourism Committee.
yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
We normally, we have our meeting on Monday night, and then I go to Cultural Tourism Committee on the first Thursday morning. But this time, the first Thursday was before our meeting, so I get to tell you what they're up to instead of telling them what you're up to. And the item that got the most attention at that meeting was what Colette is going to be telling us about in a little bit. It was, people were really excited to get the results of all those surveys that we passed around. But the a couple of other things I wanted to mention was the Chamber of Commerce is also called, it's called the Chamber of Commerce and Visitors Center because they used to actually have a separate building where they had a visitors center. It was right off the freeway, and people would come in, and they claim mostly people just used the restroom, but you know, they could get information about Encinitas. And now most of that is online, and so it's at their meetings. But they have gone back to having a visitors board where they look at who are our visitors, who comes here, how can we reach out to them. So they're looking at ways of doing marketing and maybe finding new ways to make Encinitas interesting and available to tourists. So that's the new thing they're doing. And I asked about the theater pad because I thought somebody there might want to know. And they don't really know either. They just know that it's in the process of working. And so maybe they'll come up with something next month. If they do, I'll let you know. Mm-hmm. And there were 2 Dia de los Muertos events. The library had one, and it was very successful. They normally have 900 people there on a Friday, and they had 3,400 people on that Friday coming in and being part of the events that they had there, and they had a beautiful ofrenda up. So that was a very successful event. And also the Friends of the Arts partnered with Miracosta College on Sunday and had their annual Dia, 10th annual Dia de los Muertos. And it was very successful as well, and I think a lot of it is because it was finally in the right location. There's plenty of room to have all of the events, and the music isn't deafening anybody because it's inside a building. And, you know, people were just walking around. You could hear the music everywhere. Mm-hmm. So it was just really both events were really very successful. The Heritage Ranch, they on 12/10, they're having a maker's market. And I understand at our Arts Night, we're having a maker's market on November 18th, too. We're having a maker's market. And then the Heritage Tree Lighting is 4 to 6 p.m. Oh my gosh, I didn't write the dates down. Oh, December 1st. And that's the Heritage Tree is the one right there at Moonlight Beach. It's on private property, but it's dedicated as a heritage tree. And the community of Encinitas has been decorating that tree and having a tree lighting for as long as anybody who lives here can remember. So it's definitely a historic event. But they have 4 children's choirs are going to be singing, and they've coupled up with the schools. So they have the choirs coming from the grammar schools, and one of the grammar schools has a band, and the band is going to be playing. So It's going to be quite an event.
What was the date on that?
December 1st. Yeah. So it's worth getting up early to go to that meeting.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Lees. And thank you for bringing up the theater pad. We have a kind of a pending item on that I think we'll be hearing about at some future.
I figure
more
if I
on-
keep asking everyone I run into, somebody will have an answer for me sooner or later.
Yeah. All right, that's great. Let me see. I think that, did you want to talk, do you have anything to say about the Community Grant Pro? Oh, you already served on the grant panel, right? That's done, yeah, okay. Moving on to number 2, research funding opportunities to support city arts programs and events. This is under arts advocacy. We haven't had much of a chance to meet. I think there's been a lot of action on the youth piano competition, rightfully so. So I don't have too much to add right now. But Commissioner Marakovitz, I think you're the other ad hoc member who's here.
Well, I'm a teacher, and so if I dish out homework, I have to do my homework. Yeah, that's something I'm still working on. I would like to have a little bit more clarity, like what to look for, because it's a lot. But I have reached out to some people who are grant writers in the arts, and so I've been learning from them and picking their brain. So that is something I'll be working more toward, during my next break.
Great, yeah, thank you. And I meant to mention, I've been in contact with a rep from the local Elks Lodge, and they had expressed, I don't think they've contributed to funding the arts before, and they expressed some interest, but they're still kind of figuring it out, so it's in a little bit of a holding pattern, but there's potential there. It's a little slow going, but.
Well,
And since I'm not on the ad hoc, but since this is the only time we all get to speak on this subject, I'll make a suggestion to the ad hoc that you think about drafting a letter to City Council in support of adding a grant writer to the next fiscal budget.
yeah, that's a great idea. It's been forwarded to me, grants for musical instruments, and I think that's something to look more into. So I have to put in some more research in that area, musical instrument grants. For me personally, like I work in a place that has an abundance, but for like the Pacific View, like to find out what kind of instrumental packages could be assembled, for some various things, depending on what transpires with the interest and things like that. So to be continued on that.
Okay, great, thank you. So I think we can move on to number 4. This is city staff. Actually, our part of that is done. I think Colette's going to be talking more about the survey later. So number 5, assist with the promotion of city arts and culture events. I don't know if anybody has, I think that dovetails a little bit with some of what Kathleen talked about. And I think there's a separate item about promoting art night, but I don't know if anybody has had any experiences or recently or thoughts on supporting and helping promote arts and culture events. I know we've been on social media as much as possible promoting things, and so.
A lot has happened since our last meeting. We've had some events,
Yeah,
and some of us supported the last arts event. What date was that? I can't remember.
September, 7th? Something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, great, yeah. Go ahead. Oh, nothing more, okay. Okay, we'll move on then to, I think we're on number 6, support the public art policy. And there are several elements to that, you can see. I actually, Kathleen and I are on the Olympus Park part of this, and I was kind of hoping that the something like the Elks Lodge, if there was some specific project that maybe they'd be interested in, but that hasn't quite gelled yet. So, but does anybody have any news to report on any of those items?
I have some things I can share.
Great, thank you.
There is a panel formed to jury the sculptures, the public art sculptures. And as soon as we get their schedules all aligned and that jurying can take place, and then we'll be able to identify which artists are chosen and move forward. So that's active, although it might sound kind of dormant. We're working on that. And the El Portal mosaics are actively in fabrication. They're looking fantastic. And we're going to start working on getting the RFB for installation, the request for bids for installers very soon, because we're looking at a tentative March 2024 install for that project.
Great.
Coming along really nicely.
That's great. That'll be really fun. And I was at the farmers market over there recently, and the city is encouraging people to park on 101 and take the underpass, so that the mosaics are going to get a lot of eyeballs on them, which is awesome, because it was really, really crowded there. So, so everybody going to school and then going to the farmers market, it's going to be a nice visual treat for them all. So,
I have a
Thank you.
question for Colette. Who's on the ad hoc for the, from the commission for the sculpture, as jurors for a sculpture, because nobody's listed there?
It does not look like you have formed an ad hoc for that. So the members that we have members from the community right now that represent each of the 5 communities. So if you would like to form an ad hoc to join that, you are absolutely welcome to do so. It just has not been formed yet.
My notes from our last meeting were that it was Fox, Abraham, and Campbell.
All right, thank you.
Am I right? Okay.
Kind of remembering.
Then Fox, Abraham, and Campbell will be included in the meeting date inquiries. So there, we will be aligning all of those schedules and find out where there's common availability.
Thank you.
great. Ask and you shall receive. Okay, so number 7. Did we cover everything on number 6? Is that okay? So number 7, assist with Art Night Encinitas, pre-event planning, at event volunteering, and as was mentioned, it's November 18th.
Yes.
And Colette, did you have something to add about volunteering in particular?
Definitely. We would very much welcome the commission's participation as volunteers. We have the shuttles, and so having shuttle hosts is really helpful to those. It gives you a chance to connect with the community and share about what's happening at each of the sites. A lot of times the drivers aren't from Encinitas, and so it's That's one of the benefits as well. And then on-site, having one of you here at City Hall, helping out with different events, connecting with the community. And also, there's events happening at the library and at the community center. We have the Art Mart again this November, where we invite artists from this year's exhibitions back, and they get to exhibit on a smaller scale and sell their work. And so far, I think we've got really good participation. Jess has been working on that coordination, and just having more people to answer questions and connect with the public is always helpful. So if any or all of you are interested, please reach out to Jess and we'll get you connected.
Great, thank you. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of you at Art Night, so if nobody else has any thoughts on that, we can move on. Number 8 is serve on the visual art selection panel for art exhibitions in the civic art spaces. And we have
We
two.
did that. We did that online, and I thought it went amazingly smoothly. I didn't go amazingly smoothly. My computer wouldn't let me have any sound.
Oh, dear.
Me not have any sound. I was desperate. Anyway, it did finally, it's still doing that, by the way. I have to take it in, have it looked at. But we didn't have a lot of applications, and we seem to be getting some of the same people back. So I think we ought to put a nice big intention out there for new artists to start applying. But we got a good selection, and I think, are you going to be able to fill up the slots?
We are.
still
Gone
working.
through, we're still reaching out to some of the artists, just confirming availability and number of pieces so that we can determine which site is best. But I expect to have that wrapped up by the end of this week and be able to contact all of the artists no later than next week and just confirm. We've already spoken to the artists. Now it's just kind of a matter of who is going where based on size and weight and things like that, and kind of balancing things out. There will be 3 exhibition cycles next year, so that helped in terms of how many applications we got. There are fewer spaces to fill, but I appreciate the work that the ad hoc did, the panel. We have another really nice year of exhibitions planned for 2024.
So we're only having three
Correct.
arts nights?
Yes.
How far is the reach for artists outside of Encinitas?
It can go to any artist who wants to travel. We reach out to all of the artists that we have within our database and send that, but then when we send that information out to you and out to the different channels, it's send it far and wide to any artists who might be interested. There was an artist I spoke to last year who lives half the time in Philadelphia and half the time in Oceanside, and he even thought about applying if it could work, that it would land in there. So there aren't any restrictions as far as where the artist is from.
Thank you.
Is there any other thoughts on that? And I think you were the other commissioner who was part of that. No? Okay. Great, thank you for that. So we will move on to number 9, support existing city performing arts programs. And this would be a great time to get a report from Commissioner Marakovitz about the piano competition.
Oops, sure. Well, it's really super exciting. After we had the launch of it earlier this past October, I was on fall break, and so I used my break. I don't mind. It's fun. But reached out. So actually, during the summer, I kind of made like a preparatory list of like places, people, and organizations. And I researched those links, and I hyperlink them, and so I can come back to it. And because I wanted to like dive into it once it went green. And so earlier in October, I reached out. I went a little crazy. Reached out to a lot of districts, and thankfully, a lot of our the districts in the county were cooperative, and they included in their communications. And like San Diego Unified, I mean, they were like, "Can you put it in?" Sure, they put it in. They put it, so that went out far and wide, and a lot of the districts are all around here, and some organizations. And then I went through a lot of the piano teacher organizations, and there's different chapters. So I combed through that, and it just became like the emailer wizard, and it took a while. And it was a little bit, acting on faith, because I was like, it's going out there, but is it reaching? Because I started a new email, and I tested out on my family, and it went in their spam. I mean, come on. So anyway, I think it did reach people. And then since then I went back to work. If you want, and let that gel a little bit. And now after a month later, we've met as a committee the other day, and so we're going to keep it going. So I re-emailed all those people.
As I understand it, the submission window has been open for a couple weeks now, right? And it runs through May 4th. March 27th.
Yes.
May 4th is the semi.
So we want to keep it hot. We don't want people to forget about it. So it's good to keep it going. And actually, I've gotten some responses. I've also combed through my LinkedIn, and I've made a lot of connections, and people were really excited. So I think that there should be something. Just crossing my fingers that we'll have some people who will enroll in it. We'll just wait and see.
It's probably a little early yet, right? Because it takes time for them to practice enough to get the video ready and everything. And,
that's the thing. I think that it was good to jump on it as soon as possible, because people need all the time they can get to practice these pieces. Are very, very long and very complicated. But a couple people wrote back to me, even though I kind of said, to if they had any questions to write to the city email. But anyway, some people were like really excited, and they're like, "Oh, we're on it." So really excited. We'll find out.
Yeah. I mean, it's such an impressive collaboration, and I posted something on social about the competition window being open, and immediately the North Coast Symphony responded saying, how excited they were about it. And I know how much work has gone on behind the scenes to make it happen from scratch. So it's great to hear the update.
Somebody wrote to me and said, "Oh, I had a student who knew such and such piece and didn't have a place to play it, like a certain concerto." So it was. So I thought, well, that's maybe something to consider, like the next time around, to open up the diversity of repertoire or something, because some people might already have like a concerto in their back pocket, that they could.
Don't we all?
And be able to, be able to put it in. But we probably won't see the results of things closer to March. We'll cross our fingers.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for getting us up to speed on that. And look forward to hearing what you receive. So, are there any other performing arts related items that anybody wanted to talk about?
I'll mention that the Nutcracker
Yeah.
Tickets are for sale. There will again be 2 performances at the Community Center on December 16th, one at 1 o'clock and another at 5 o'clock. And it was such a success last year. We're really grateful that the event was able to move into the gym, which might sound unusual, but it gives so much more space, and that's where the stage is. So the event is being re-engineered by Encinitas Ballet. It's going to be on 2 levels, so some up on the stage part and then some down on the ground stage. And I think people will really enjoy it. If last year was amazing, this year's going to be even better. So I highly suggest if you are interested in the evening performance, you get your tickets quickly, because that one did sell out. And the matinee was pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my ticket.
Well done. Great. That sounds like fun.
And don't be surprised if you see the Rat King costume around town. New costumes this year, and it is epic.
Great. I'll keep an eye out. Thank you, Colette. So, unless there's anything else on that, we can move on to number 10. That's mission and vision statements, which we completed. So I think we can move ahead. Branding was also something we've wrapped up, right?
I mean, that continues to be ongoing, but there's no specific
Nothing
update.
new, yeah.
Kind of waiting to see, but I know potentially someone will come in December to present, potentially. So we'll see, at least put something forth.
Great.
Would you repeat
Thank
that
you.
again? Present where, what?
Potentially present something about branding and marketing for
Oh,
Pacific
thank you.
View in December, but I'm waiting on securing that.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. And then number 12, also we did a while ago, the color palette. So we'll move on to number 13. And I have a little bit to say on this, but before that, I just wanted to see if anybody else has any comments on.
I can share that the public survey closed today, and we are in the process of pulling that data together into report form so that we can share the results. It was just under 600 households who participated in the survey, and the results will be part of a presentation on programming that is going to council on November 15th, when council will provide direction on programming.
Great. 600, you said? So
Just under 600. I don't remember
good?
that it was 590 something.
do you know
And
the,
it was weird. They have till the end of the day today.
was there a breakdown on how many local versus, because people were asking me whether they could,
Sure.
from outside the community, whether they could weigh in, so.
When I looked at some preliminary data, the Encinitas residents were in the high 80s. It was like
Okay.
87% of
That's good.
Encinitas residents had taken the survey. So it was pretty heavy.
Great, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, great, thank you for that. I'm just going to bring up on this topic that, so as I understand it, there's been a little bit of talk about potential changing of the focus of the Pacific View Arts Center to be not necessarily 100% arts. And I don't think this has not reached any kind of official decision, but it's being talked about out there. And I, along with our ad hoc, Katie, and I know Irene, you're part of this ad hoc as well. We worked on a little bit of a statement that we would like to present to the City Council. They're going to be meeting on November 15th, and they're going to be, as I understand it, providing some direction for what the longer range, what the emphasis is going to be at the center. And we just were a little bit concerned about what the implications of this were. So this is really, I'll read this to you and I can pass it around, but it's really essentially reiterating what we've been talking about and working on over the past many months, and the commitment to this being an art center. So I'll read this out. I think what we would like to try to do is get a vote on whether the commission feels that we want to present this to the city council as a body. Obviously, we want everybody agreed on this before we put the commission's name on it. So, so what we have is we, the members of the Encinitas Commission for the Arts, would like to wholeheartedly reaffirm our support for the Pacific View Arts Center as a place dedicated in full to arts education, exploration, and discovery. We'd also like to thank the members of the Encinitas City Council for their unequivocal support of this long-held vision for Pacific View, as evidenced by past votes and comments. We look forward to continuing to lend our knowledge and advice to help make Pacific View a place where the Encinitas community can gather and experience the full power of creative expression. So open to any thoughts or edits or, disagreements or anything
I
else
like it
on that.
very much. I'd send it just as it is. And I will comment that a friend of mine, Russell Levon, is president of the board of the Solana Center. And he tells me that they have been told, excuse me, allergies, that they will not be going into Pacific View. But this is an issue that keeps coming up. So I think it's a good idea for us to make our opinion and our input very clear.
Great, thank you.
So, good job.
Thank
I
you,
have to
yeah.
go cough now.
Yeah. Yeah, as I say, the intent was to kind of reiterate what I think we have agreed on over the past time that we've been working on this project. So, but, I'm happy we're certainly happy to entertain any changes or thoughts or anything like that, because we would all be party to this statement, so.
I think it sounds very good as well, so I wonder if we could have a vote on accepting that and presenting it to the council.
Great.
I'll second that.
Great, we have a motion to vote and we have a second, so can we have a vote?
Just as a point of clarification, presenting it to council, I'm not exactly sure what that means. Is it a letter that we're going to write directly to them? Is someone going to speak at
That's a good
the
question.
November 15th meeting? How is it going to be presented?
That is up to you.
Okay.
We could
To-
do all.
to decide.
We could do all of that.
I'd like to do all.
During-
Mm-hmm.
Since it's on the agenda, someone of us from the commission could get up and read the letter, but we also want to send it to them.
Mm-hmm.
So send it to them to put it on the record before the meeting, and then, so that raises the question, is there somebody who wants to volunteer to actually read the letter?
Now, also, as many of us can be there, should be there.
Yes, and
Absolutely.
thank you. That's actually something I meant to say, was that everybody's certainly encouraged to attend the meeting and voice support, yeah.
Would you like to
Yeah,
read
and
it,
for any,
James,
Sorry?
you're our leader.
I'm happy to do it. I just, I wanted this to be obviously a democratic thing, and so, but yeah, I'm happy to do that if that's the preference, so.
just to reiterate, for any members of the public who feel strongly for this, November 15th, you can always go to the regular city council meeting, fill out the slip, and you have 3 minutes to speak about whatever you want. So that's another way also for all of us to be able to get up and speak, not as commissioners, because we can't speak for the whole body, but we can speak as an individual. So I know that's a little
Yeah.
off topic as far as the motion is concerned.
Yeah, no, that's,
Just getting organized.
Okay, so just to clarify what the motion is, so the commission today is The motion is to accept the letter that was written by the Commission for the Arts to be presented to City Council on November 15th.
Yeah, that sounds right. Do we need to
And-
specify that we'll be
Yeah, I think
sending
we
it
should,
to
I
put in
think
the
we
record?
should present it to them as soon as possible, as if you would mail it to them
I
from
agree.
us. But
Yeah.
then we'll reiterate what we've said at the commission, at the meeting.
Right, so as a written letter and
At the
as an
November
oral
15th
presentation.
meeting, when they're talking about Pacific View.
So are you signing this letter today? So we can deliver it to,
Well, I mean, I guess we could.
We can send it by email, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if it's been, if it is approved by the whole commission, we can send it.
so who's going to be sending the email?
Well, I can send it because I have the draft, and if that's
Yeah, and
that
as
works,
chair, I
yeah.
think that seems appropriate.
Okay.
Okay.
And then you will also be reading the letter at the council meeting?
Yeah, I think that's the idea. I guess the question I have, because I don't know, I haven't done this particular thing before, but do I read it as a public comment, or will they put us on?
Read it
the-
as an agenda item. You fill out, I think it's the pink slip.
It would be public comment.
Mhm. Okay, they're not going to.
Yeah, it's part of, during every item on the agenda has a public comment, period.
Right,
So it often gets confused with the speaking, like.
the
where
general, right,
General people can talk, but
Right.
that's about something that's not on the agenda.
right.
This
yeah.
is on the agenda, so you speak during the public comment
Mhm.
of that agenda item.
Right, okay,
And you get 3 minutes.
that makes sense.
If you wanted your letter to be included as an attachment to that agenda item, once the agenda is posted, you can email that to the clerk, and they can include it as public comment there as well.
Okay, all right. How much ahead of time does that need to be done? Do you know, or as
It
much?
could be done before or after. It'll still be included as
Okay.
an
Okay.
attachment.
So is that enough information for
For today?
For the motion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So because it's not an agendized item on the work plan, we'll just take the vote orally.
Right.
Okay. All right, so we have, was it who, I'm sorry, I can't even read my writing. Who approved the motion? Was it Commissioner Abraham?
She
I
made the
propose a
The
motion.
motion,
yes.
okay. And then, so we have, and then Commissioner Marakovitz, your second? Okay. And then Commissioner Hebert, are you in favor?
Yes.
Commissioner Fox?
Yes.
And Commissioner Lees?
Yes.
Okay. Let the record show that all commissioners are in favor.
Oh, what about me?
You seconded.
Great, thank you for that. And just, I want to keep in mind the members who aren't here as well. We can fill them in on this because they'll de facto have, their names will be on it via the commission being part of this. But that's not an issue, right? That they,
I will send an information item out to the full commission,
okay,
and they can also go back and watch the recording and see the motion.
get up to
and-
speed, yeah. Okay, okay,
And if you have a draft of the letter, I can include that in the informational item that I send to the full commission.
sure. Yeah, I can email that to you. Great, thank you, everybody, for that. And where are we on the agenda? All right, so we are moving on to number 14, the feasibility of future artist residency programs at Pacific View. Is there anything?
The
on
only
that?
update is that we have met and are brainstorming and researching. There's nothing of particular specific substance to share, but it is ongoing and super exciting, actually. So we'll hopefully share more in December.
I thought that I was on that, that I was added as per the last meeting, but
I believe
noticed
you
I'm
were,
not on
and
there.
that's my apologies for that.
Hmm?
I said, I
Yes.
believe you were, and my apologies. I just consulted the work plan. I didn't have notes from it, so
Yeah.
next time.
Yeah,
I will.
be on it. Can I share an idea on that? Since I'm on it, I guess.
Of course.
I was thinking about, and I might have mentioned this before, but this is along the lines of residency, if you will, and uses of it. And I was wondering about the prospects of investigating partnerships with the districts. And I was thinking of my own school district, of what they've done. Matter of fact, just as a little example, like today, my students went to the Sound Innovation Station, which was it's very intriguing to me. I went to visit it, and it's in partnership with the city of Chula Vista. And students from the districts go there, and they. So anyway, it's very interesting if you want to think of like artist residency in a different way, where you have educators from the institutions that might not be limited to the school districts, but maybe the colleges or something like that. So I just think that it's something worth looking into.
Okay. Yeah, good idea. Thank you. Did you have something else to? No. Okay. All right. So I think we're on the last work plan item. Support existing city arts education programs and direct potential arts instructors to city RFPs. And that's an ongoing thing. So
It is ongoing, and I have very exciting news about it. We have been working, as you know, long and hard at getting that process simplified, and the new is actually available now. So I'll show you really quick. The short link to get there is on the city's website, encinitasca.gov/instructor, and it takes you to this page, which goes through just the basics. This is for both arts and recreation programming. So a potential contract instructor would start here and then click on whichever kind of class or camp they were interested. So for arts, they click and it comes over here, become an arts contract instructor. At the moment, these are some programs that we are looking at getting instructors for. And then this is the application. So much more simplified than the previous version. We've already started to receive some applications. After the application is received, then we evaluate the need. We look at the references and then decide if we're going to go forward. Going forward, there are more detailed steps into getting background checked and then developing the days and all of that. But this is huge. So I will send this link out to all of you as well so that you can share with any potential arts instructors. The process is so much easier now. So this is no longer a barrier.
Is it possible, I actually looked at this the other day, to include more, scroll up, on the proposals, because I know in the brainstorming sessions, they had suggested so many sort of a little more, or less typical of what you would offer in an arts.
Sure. So this is what we're looking for right at this moment. And that list that you're talking about is part of a bigger picture, and we're not quite ready for that yet.
You're not ready to accept applications from?
We're not
other-
quite ready for it yet. I don't have capacity for it yet.
But I guess don't really understand. You mean they can't use this application if somebody say,
Well, they can. We're not saying that you can't submit for anything else. We're highlighting things that we're specifically looking for right now. Like right now, we need a watercolor instructor. These are some programs that have either there has been a gap left and we needed to fill an instructor position, or things that we know we have space for. So that larger picture of seeking instructors on the larger scale, that's going to come, and we'll know more after November 15th. And then we'll also know more as we start to see with Pacific View the timeline. So there is a chronology to it. We're just not at this is really new, Irene, really, really new. So we're going to get to the point where that larger list is there. That's just, we're really excited that we have a new process.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that, instructors won't be discouraged by looking at this list if they are doing like, computer work with your iPhone or something, that wouldn't fit under any of these.
I hope
But
that they won't
anyway,
be
I
either. I
hope-
hope they'll share in our excitement that it's now an approachable, easy to navigate process.
So are these applications more for the community center then, rather than for Pacific View? Is that what you're?
Correct. We don't have, Pacific View isn't open and won't be for quite some time. So at the moment, we're working on getting programming to host at existing city sites that can move over. So it's this incremental process. And so it's not really fair to be putting that out right now. It's going to be coming. It's just not right now.
Thank you.
Of course.
I did go ahead and complete, like, just as a test. I didn't hit send, and it's really great, super simple, very straightforward, and feels like you're actually able to give the information that you would like to give, all those things. I do want to second what Irene's saying, because a lot of things that were on that list could potentially happen at the community center or in various places in the city, and so I think starting to kind of generate excitement, no matter where those classes land at this point, shows just that like forward thinking and innovative, just to garner that sort of different thought. And there's lots of things, as you mentioned, that don't need any extra materials, aren't wet arts, don't need specific rooms at all, could even have, so maybe it's just the wording or putting, saying, looking forward to these other things, like just adding in be my suggestion, to add in a smattering of something else. And this is just a side note. I love watercolors. I do watercolor. I own watercolor. But it's a little bit of a cliche, like we're trying, especially with Pacific View, the feeling is like, well, we don't want to just have watercolor classes there. And so to see that as the first thing that's on is a little, it's just kind of like a damper. So I don't quite understand why just a few more bullet points listed on this page would actually change anything except for the feeling that people get when they land on that page.
Sure. So for now, watercolor was the highest priority based on community demand. And so that was a position that we were really trying to get filled so that we could meet the needs of a specific group. And then
I'm not, just for clarification, leave all these four. I think I'm
Sure.
absolutely not being prejudiced against any of those art forms or classes or anything like that. I'm just for that feeling of there's something on the vanguard here also. Not that watercolor can't be on the vanguard in lots of different ways, but it doesn't like get you that way.
Right. So the very first line, unique and innovative arts programs are always of interest. So we start off by talking about that. It just so happened we really needed, like there's some things we put up there. It is not the exhaustive end list. And soon-ish, we hope to be able to expand that. I think we'll know a lot more after November 15th. And then as we really get a sense of the completion date for Pacific View, then we can start to construct a timeline. So there is a lot of thought going into it to make sure that we're not setting up unrealistic expectations with an arts instructor. So we're just at this point we're just a little early for that, but it's coming soon.
Thank you. I don't know if you're really seeking our, how much input you're seeking on this, but I wonder, in light of what you were saying in the comments, would it make sense to add a line saying check back soon for more, categories of job postings, something like that?
Sure.
Just to further encourage people who maybe don't fit in these categories, but,
Sure.
Okay. It's just a thought, so. Okay. Great. Oh, and what is the short URL again? I missed that.
It's /instructor. So it's the
Instructor,
city's
okay.
website, encinitasca.gov/instructor.
Got it.
And then it goes to this longer one, but we thought that would be
Got it. Yeah.
much easier.
Yeah. No, that's really, accessibility is kind of everything. So those are very welcome. That's a welcome update. Thank you for that. Okay. So was there any other further comments?
Well, I'm wondering if you could add another link besides instructor, like teacher, for example, because if you go to the main page and put in teacher, you come up with lifeguards. You don't come up with this page. So maybe some more links would.
Right now, we have just the short link of going to instructor, and then we're working on getting the connections on all of the other pages. This is really fairly brand new. So having another short link doesn't help. I think it kind of complicates it. So that was.
It would be as a search, as a search item.
Yeah, no,
having
for
it show
for
up.
searching for sure. It's having all of that done. Like I said, we're right at the beginning. So thank you.
Right. It's just something I noticed that, made it less accessible than it might be. Thanks.
I will be
Just-
sure and share that with IT.
Just to clarify, congratulations. I know that was a huge one that we've been waiting for, that you guys have been working on so hard. So
I'm not
I
sure
think
you
it's
know how
great.
big.
I don't, because I'm not working with you.
It
but I
was-
do have that
this is
sense just
huge.
from over the last year. So,
So
yeah.
thank you for sharing
Hats
the joy
off.
and accomplishment.
Completely.
And thank you for going through the process. I hope you get hired. Vice Chair Potts. Yeah. No, I know. No, but you said you actually went through it, right? You went down
Yeah,
through the process. That's great. Test, a live test. That's
If you
awesome.
guys ever want to test something, you can just put test, and then just let me know that you've done that. If you want to really get that full experience, it's totally fine. It comes to me and to Jess, so it's completely fine.
Okay, it's good to know. Great. Okay, thank you, everybody. So I think that wraps up our. Oh no, there's a number. 60?
The remaining things are the things that you'll need to do at the end of the year.
Right. Got it. Okay. All right. So I think we can wrap the work plan discussion. Great. So we are now on. Where are we here? We're on 8B, Pacific View Arts Center. And can we go straight to I think we have
speakers.
Yes, we have a comment here, so.
Let the record show there's one public speaker, Marie Michelle Jasmine Balil, speaking in support of recommended action for agenda item 8B. And as a reminder, you have 3 minutes to address the commission.
Is there a button there? You might need to. Is it on? Oh, it is.
It's on?
Okay.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, we
okay.
can hear you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, first of all, for having me. I'm going to try to rotate and face everybody as much as I can. My name is Marie Michel. I'm from Montreal. I'm French Canadian, and I moved to Encinitas 3 years ago. And I'm so happy I discovered the Arts Commission. I just found out about all this and the process. Last week I had a meeting with Deputy Mayor Joy Lindis, and so she suggested I come here and speak with you all today because I really just I'm just really here to advocate for the position of film within the programming at Pacific View. So I'm a writer-director. I've been working professionally for 15 years. That's my main source of income. I've worked in Japan. I just did a film with the Santa Fe Opera, and I've also worked as a cinematographer for the Los Angeles Ballet last month. So I'm pretty involved I mean, it's my life, you know? And so when, and I also, with my husband, we live on 3rd Street, so we, in real time, are seeing the renovations happening at the Pacific View, so it's so exciting. And because I moved here during COVID, I didn't really get to know the city that well. So now it's sort of like I'm in this process. But one of the things that I've really noticed when I moved here is that, a little bit to your point, there are quite a few art centers, and I did a bit of research, which I managed to forget all of it. It's at home, but next time I'll be better prepared. But I really did look at all the, the Lux Institute, which was recently rebranded. There's the Athenaeum's Art Center in the library in La Jolla and Logan Heights. And then the colleges, I looked at their curriculum, and there's a huge gap for film, and I'm not sure why, because film is like one of the biggest, economic motors of California. Like, I mean, we are world known for film, and we have this privileged position of being between like San Diego and Los Angeles. We're close enough. It would be so easy to bring in a speaker. I'm very obviously connected to a lot of people, and I worked a lot with indigenous filmmakers to just bring in a speaker for a day. So it could be like an artist talk kind of situation, could be like the residencies. There's just so much, And I know I'm preaching to the choir a little bit, right? But I just really, and if I can be of service in any way for the programming, I think I have a lot to bring to the table. And I've already developed a curriculum for the University of New Mexico. When I was in my 20s, I conducted like a week-long sort of camp, I guess you would say, actually it was specifically for indigenous kids, but all that to say, I think it's just such a golden opportunity because nobody else is doing it around here. There's definitely visual arts. Oh, that's the alarm to say it's 3 minutes. There's visual arts, but there's just no film. So I think it'd be really, really exciting, and I think it's really important to plant the seeds because not just for the youth, for adults as well. Like there's production companies around, but there's no entry point for anybody unless you're willing to go do a degree, which, who's got time for that? So I think just to have like little classes, I think would be a huge step. So thank you so much for hearing me out.
Thank you very much. Those are great points. And
Should we
certainly
introduce her to Jessie? Should we introduce her to Jess? Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, I think we certainly take that to heart, especially at this time when we've been talking about programming coming up. So that's very helpful information, and I'm sure that we'll want to reach out and connect more and hear more about those ideas. So thank you for being here.
And I think you could submit an application to be an instructor. So right now.
You could also submit to be a commissioner in next year. There will be 2 spots opening up on this commission. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good thought. Great. Well, thanks again. And with that, we have 8C. We're going to talk about the Encinitas Holiday Parade participation. Sorry?
Would you like the update on the Pacific View property?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I knew I was forgetting something.
That's
yeah,
okay.
There it is. Yeah. No, you did all that work. Let's just skip it. So.
It's okay.
Sorry about that. No, please go ahead.
In terms of construction, it's really starting to look a lot more finished. And I know I had shared with you that once it got to that stage, I was going to invite you to come for a tour. So I'll talk with the group and find out when some openings might be, because as you can see from the pictures, the interior walls have been finished off. The exterior walls are starting to apply the colored stucco. That's not the actual paint. They actually color the stucco underneath, and that just helps to preserve the paint. The paint will be more vibrant. You've all seen the color palette that was chosen. So the project is still on track. A lot of those things that need to be done in terms of services for utilities, so it's all coming along. And then we've talked about the programming in terms of the survey and having that those public results, and those will be presented on November 15th. The fundraising is just that ongoing thing, and we're hoping that once we have a firmer idea of what kind of programming we'll be able to move forward with, then we can narrow down some more finite fundraising needs. And that might help with some of the other things you were talking about in terms of knowing where to go. And that's all.
Great, thank you. Any other thoughts on the Arts Center?
I have a question for Colette.
Sure.
Colette, I thought the city has recently hired someone to do funding, grant writing, and that sort of thing for the city. Didn't they just hire someone
It's
for
possible that there could be in one of the other departments. I can inquire.
Because I know that it was a discussion during the budget time, and then when I asked about it, I was told that they were just not on board yet, that they'd been hired but weren't on board.
I'll ask.
So I don't know where that stands. I keep waiting, hoping, because it's such a good idea.
Right. Anything else? Questions or no? Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. I just really wanted to talk about the holiday parade. Just rush right into
I know
that,
you're really
but-
excited.
I'm so
You're-
sorry.
you're up.
Can I just backtrack for
Oh,
a
no.
second? Sorry.
We're not through
Curb
yet.
that.
Okay. No, that's
Just as
okay.
far as Pacific View is concerned, I know there has been, it's come to my attention that storage is an issue that is of concern to people and the city council. And I did want to just remind that from a programming meeting back in April, we talked about that that there was an ability to put a shed that gained, I think, 120 square feet. And as far as I have researched thus far, there's no height ordinance for a shed, so there's a potential to have a lofted space that could add storage. So I just wanted that on public record.
I think we probably need to not exceed the sight lines of that perimeter, especially on the residential side, but we are limited to the amount of square footage so that we stay in compliance and don't trigger any kind of additional permitting.
I just don't think that a shed had been mentioned, so I just wanted to
Yeah.
add that.
Okay. Last call for comments, Pacific View comments. No. Nobody else? Okay. So for real, moving on to 8C, and I think the main intention of this item is to decide yay or nay that we want to have participation. And for those of you, well, I think Jennifer, you might be the only one here tonight who maybe wasn't here last year, but we had, the presence was actually Vice Chair Fox and I, and she arranged for this nice vintage convertible and with banners and lights and things. So we were part of the parade, which was fun. And I thought it was great. We got actually a great reception. There were people chanting, from the upper deck of of a bar or something, chanting "arts, arts, arts." So all fired up. So I'm certainly in favor of having a presence again. It keeps people aware that we exist as a body, and maybe they'll be curious to find out more. So, but certainly open to any other thoughts on that.
Well, I'd like to be in it. I
Yeah.
love the parade.
Yeah, who doesn't want to be in a parade? And I don't think do we need to vote on whether up or down on whether we're going to be a part of the parade, or I don't remember.
You do.
We do. Okay, great.
Do we want to create an ad hoc to come up with that? If we can make a motion to participate. Sounds like we all want to. Once that's done, as part of that motion, do we want to create an ad hoc, or is that something we just want to decide tonight, and then whoever's on it can?
Well, there's a due date for putting in an application if you actually want to be afloat in a parade. But usually, what's happened in the past too is there's a car club and they just want, like official people to sit in the backs of their cars. And that's what happened when I did it. But I don't know that the commission has ever come together and said, this is our float or marching together.
That's what we did last year.
Is it? Oh, good.
Yeah, no, and it's a good point about the ad hoc, because I think that's what we did last year. Is I think you and I and somebody, possibly Commissioner Abraham, were on the ad hoc. No. Okay. Well, I know that so we formed an ad hoc and just came up with this plan to, be in a car. And I think I still may have the banners still, actually, so we could.
You'll print you a new banner this year.
Okay.
Well, if you want to have
when
an
is
ad
the-
hoc, I'll be in the ad hoc.
Great.
When
Thank
is
you.
the
What is the
deadline
due
for
date?
the
Yeah.
application?
The deadline for application submittal is Monday, November 13th.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so next
a
week.
week from today.
Would anyone else like?
I'm-
I'll make a motion to participate, have the commission participate in the parade.
Yeah, and I'll second that. We can vote on that part first. And
All right, so the motion is for the commission to participate in the holiday parade, and if I call your name, just say that you are in support of. Commissioner Hebert,
yay.
Commissioner Fox,
Yay.
Commissioner Abraham,
Yes.
Commissioner Lees,
Yes.
and Commissioner Morakovitz.
Yes.
I let the record show it passes unanimously with Commissioners Campbell and Kadakias being absent.
And would anyone else like to participate?
I do.
I know
Yeah,
you.
So we've got you.
I want a piano poster.
Yeah, actually, that would be a great way to get the message out if we could figure out a way to do that. And I'm happy to be on the ad hoc too. I partly because I've been in contact with somebody who owns a really cool classic Woody, which could be your vehicle.
perfect, nice.
Don't know. I can't make any promises, but so. Any-
I'll be in the ad hoc, and then we can decide from there. You said
Okay.
you didn't want to, right? It's
the actual parade, December 3rd.
Third,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
second, I'm sorry, Saturday the 2nd.
Oh, okay. There we go. So we got 3 for an ad hoc, and I think that should put us on a good path to doing that. So, great. Okay, and was that, so where are we here? We're down to number 9. The Arts Master Plan status, I don't think,
So that's me.
yeah.
Just sharing based on the request for information at the last meeting. So I shared as an information item to all of you after that meeting, I sent you the link to the most recent work of the prior commission. And it is the intent to put into the budget request for the next fiscal year that a consultant who is qualified and has the expertise in doing an arts master plan be hired so that we can continue that work. It's just not a scope of work that the commission can manage on its own. The prior commissions over several years, a lot of really good work was done. And I think that the determination by those in charge was really that it needed to take on that level. And we put it in for this current year, and it was just not, there's a lot of competing priorities, so it was not selected. It doesn't mean it's not important, it just didn't rise to the level of this year. So we're going to put it in again for next year and hopefully be able to move forward with that.
Okay.
Are there any questions?
Not at the moment. I don't know if anybody else has any thoughts. So if not, we'll move on to, do you want to talk about the Cultural Arts Division report?
Sure. Kathleen touched on it a little bit, the Dia de los Muertos celebration at the library. This is the second year that we partnered with the Encinitas Library and the Friends of the Encinitas Library, who were really wonderful partners and expanded the programming so much. And we conservatively think there were about 500 participants doing making their mini altars, a poetry workshop to develop literarias, which are little messages that you can leave on the ofrenda to your loved ones who have departed, and sugar skull decorating. We had the Chula Vista Mariachi Band come and perform, and our own Ballet Folklorico dancers. It was incredibly successful. It was just a really nice opportunity to celebrate that tradition. And then last Friday, the new season of Music by the Sea kicked off, and it is the first concert in our partnership with the San Diego Music Society and under the artistic direction of Paul Sang, and it was a spectacular performance. It was a piano soloist, and we're really looking forward to the rest of the season. The next concert is on Friday, December 1st, with a violinist, Christian Fatu, and his piano accompanist, Evangelia de Lizonas Huhua. And they will be at the library. All the concerts are there, 7:30 p.m. And you can go to our website, encinitasca.gov/concerts, and be able to see all of the concerts with connections to ticketing. New exhibitions were installed a couple weeks ago and will be celebrated at Art Night, as we talked about, on the 18th. We're really excited about that. We talked about El Portal, and then I wanted to mention just the theater pad. As I know that was another agenda item you requested, and I'm working on gathering the details that you're interested in. They're just not quite ready. I need to pull those from people outside my department, and once I get that, it'll show up on a future agenda.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any follow-ups or questions on that, on the Cultural Arts Division report?
I have a question about the new working relationship with the San Diego musicians. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name exactly.
The San Diego Music Society?
Music Society. How are we partnering with them?
Um,
Does that work?
It's that we literally are partnering with them on that. So they are doing the artist, working with pulling together. So Paul Sang is the artistic director and helped coordinate the musicians and what the schedule would look like, what the season would look like.
Okay. Well, it was an astonishing.
Wonderful.
Okay, thank you for that. And then we can move on to 9C Commission calendar, and love to hear your information on that.
Yep, so it's a little bit of a repeat. Wednesdays at noon continue to be really well attended, excellent musicians. If you ever are free on a Wednesday, I highly recommend coming in. Come early, it's if you want to be able to get a seat. And then Music by the Sea will continue with concerts through June, and it is a season well worth looking into. November 3rd happened last Friday, and then December 1st is the next one coming up, and then January 26th is the one after that. And then Art Night, November 18th. Everyone is welcome, not only at our city sites, but we have a number of partner sites. So if you look at the website, you'll be able to see what's being offered at the different places. And it's a fun night to get out. Most everything is free, so it's an opportunity to experience visual and performing artists and connect with the arts community.
Right.
Colette, are there plans for next summer for the music festival we usually have?
Yes,
Can you enlighten us?
I don't have any additional information at this time.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions or comments? By the way, how many venues do you know offhand? Did you say how many venues for Art Night this time around?
Supervisor Roberts might know that information off the
Okay.
top of her head. 3 city sites. 4 art galleries. Culture Brewing.
Yeah. That's a good lineup. I always wonder what the sweet spot is, the ideal number, because I know people want to see everything and they're rushing around and, yeah.
The cottage restaurant. So
Oh,
the
yeah.
cool thing is you can look ahead of time and see the kinds of things that are really interesting to you and then plan your night. And if there's nothing specific interest, you can go sample all of it.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Flyers are out there and also looking at the website, because that's what we're going to be able to keep updated as we continue to get
Mhm.
more information from our partner sites and things that maybe they've added.
Yeah, okay.
Can you forward a flyer for the art night? I don't believe I saw it.
Sure, yeah, we can grab some out there and we can send you the PDF.
Yeah, like the PDF.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for that. And I think that concludes those reports. So we'll move on. Number 10, Commission member-initiated agenda item. I don't think we have any of those tonight. And then number 11, future agenda item added by Commission members.
I'd like to, in regards to the Arts Master Plan, it was mentioned, I'd like to request that we add an agenda item to discuss the benefits of hiring a consultant for that, and potentially drafting a letter to City Council to a letter of support for the consultant to be added to the next fiscal year, to the budget for that.
Yeah, I'll second that proposal.
Great.
No, okay. So that's all we need to do for that, right?
Correct.
Okay, great.
You just need the 2.
Right, got it. Okay, great. And so finally, number 12, commissioners' reports. If anyone has any additional information they want to share, any thoughts? We covered a lot of ground. I don't have anything additional, but last chance for comments.
I'll just say, just as a reminder to everyone, to maybe look at the ad hocs that we're all a member of and to reach out to each other to continue moving the work forward. So for us, especially because we have a week to do the holiday parade. And what else? Art Geek Encinitas is my Instagram account, just for public. I try to post semi-regularly about different events and opportunities for all kinds of arts and culture events nearby.
Yeah. Yeah, I learn a lot. You're plugged into especially a lot of the visual arts happening, so it's good to keep up on what's going on. And yeah, all part of our mission to get the word out there. Well, thank you, everybody. I think if that is all we have, we will call this meeting to a close at 6:24. Thank you. What? I gotta agendize buying a new mouse that I just destroyed. Yeah. Never had a gavel class, so. Where do you learn these things? Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah, I don't know. Am I? No, I thought that Michael used to use it. Now I'm having second thoughts.
No way. I held myself back. I didn't sing it last time. I don't know why I did that. But
I wonder how long, I wonder what the history of this thing is. Yeah, and it's true. It does get pretty chilly sometimes.
If you're in a car, there's
Yeah.
and it was
Yeah.
very fun.
It was really fun. People were tired out, so. It was great.
Yeah, no.
Oh, you do? Okay. Yeah.
I know,
Just put it in the bag, because you're gonna get lose it if you leave it loose, or you'll forget it. And so then for the next meeting, you'll just grab it out of the right Ziploc bag. It's fine. Nate and I always leave ours in there. Yeah. Otherwise, you're gonna end up forgetting it. It'll be in your office. You're like, you have to run back to your office.
Right.
Do you want me to turn this off, Julie, like the box and everything? A little box. Oh, the back. Oh, here it is, I see it. And then this little other computer? Just leave it. You want me just to exit? Okay.
I know you are. I just wanted to back up here real quick. I think I'm gonna let the document. Oh. Yeah. Oh, I can't quite reach it. There it is. Yeah.
All these things to remember.
I know. Are you training?
I'm training to do the run the commission for the arts and
Oh, great.
I'm Jamie Lewis.
Jamie, nice to meet you. I'm Jim.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while, because all the little ins and outs of when
I
you're
know.
supposed to jump in, I just,
Oh, yeah.
so,
I still don't know.
yeah, I know, it
Like
takes.
civilians and-
Yeah, Julie's so quick with it, so once
I
we get it,
know.
once I get those little catchphrases down, they're very formatted, so, nice to meet you.